Hello and welcome to Really Cool People, a podcast produced by Schweitzer Church. I'm your host, Jason Leininger. This is a place to hear stories of really cool people. Some of these stories come from folks who think they're just kind of ordinary. But the reality is that nobody's ordinary. C.S. Lewis famously said, there are no ordinary people. You've never talked to a mere mortal. And as I've heard stories, as I've listened, I know that these stories are fascinating and gripping. And the hope is that in the midst of serendipity, you and I will be inspired, encouraged, and challenged by the people that we meet. So it's my joy over the next few minutes to introduce you to someone who is really cool. Today we're going to meet Donna Montgomery, and she's going to share about her life that on the one hand, she says, was really charmed. It began in Springfield, Missouri, where she was born, and she tells stories of rampaging all over the town in very good ways and having a fun life. And she encourages us by leaning into happiness. So I invite you to listen along with me to the story of Donna Montgomery. Well, we're glad to welcome today Donna Montgomery, and she's here to share her story with us.
So now it's me.
So now it's you.
Okay. I was born and raised here in Springfield, Missouri, Greene County. I grew up here. I went to school here. I have one sister. Both parents are gone now. We had such a good time. Our neighborhood was all children. Our school was a block away, and it was perfect. We moved to another home in middle school, and there I made more friends, had more fun. From there, I went to Glendale, Parkview and Glendale, where I met my husband and more friends and still more fun. It was just the perfect time to be here. I went to college at Southwest Missouri State and got a degree in education, which I taught 1 year, half-day kindergarten, and knew that this was not for me. Did not have the patience for it. I married in 1968 to my husband, Bill. We have 2 children, Will and Josh, a wonderful daughter-in-law, Jennifer, 2 great-grandchildren, Miles and Mallory. And my life is great. And I was fortunate that I didn't have to work. I was a stay-at-home mom. It was, my in-laws had a swimming pool and a tennis court. So every Sunday we were there. We played. We just had fun. We have a farm in Marshfield, not a working farm, but they've had cattle. We now have 2 horses and a burro. Our herd of burros is dwindling, and I'm sure this will be the last one. And yes, so that's it. Bill goes to the farm every day. He cuts wood. I stay home and read and just enjoy myself. So there, that's that in a nutshell.
That's you in a nutshell.
That's me in a nutshell.
Well, one of the things you said a lot of in that brief statement is that you've got a lot of friends and you've had a lot of fun in life.
Good fun.
Good fun.
What's that?
Yeah. What's good fun?
Well, I was just fortunate to be around people who were like me. And we just had fun. We went to school together. We joined a country club. My parents were charter members. It was not a big deal, but it was. And from there, I got to know other children my age. We'd swim. We'd play golf. Oh, not anymore, but we sure had fun doing it. I mean, you just did everything. And you could do everything. And it was just a fun, easy time to be living because there wasn't fear. We didn't have fear of walking across sunshine down Fremont to a friend's house close to St. John's Hospital or ride your bike. We didn't have the fear that the children have now. So we just had fun. We just went places, and I can remember I was small. The bus stopped right in front of our house on Portland. And my sister and maybe a friend, we'd get on the bus and go downtown. And we were little. And then we'd come home. Of course, there was this one man, and he had a purple hand, and he was kind of scary.
A one man with a purple hand?
No, a man with
purple.
one hand that
Okay.
was purple. And he was just always downtown. And we all knew him. We all knew who he was, and we all stayed away from him. And there probably wasn't a thing wrong with him, except for the purple hand.
Did you have any idea why he only had one hand?
He had two hands.
Oh, he had two hands.
But one was purple.
Okay.
And I'm sure it was a birthmark.
Oh,
Just
wow.
one of those purple birthmarks. Yeah. But he was just odd, and we'd just stay away from him, but we all knew who he was. Yeah.
Wow.
So
why do you think, as you think about your life early on and so pastoral and pleasant and just perfect in that way, why do you think it was like that? What were the things that went into the environment that made it like that?
Maybe because very few women worked. So there were mothers everywhere. So if you knew that if Donna and Julie got on their bike and they went over so-and-so, the mothers were going to be there. They were not going to be away from the home. And everybody watched out for everybody. And there just wasn't that media outside. We didn't have TV until later. And that was really, eye-opening. But it was, we still played outside. We didn't stay in and watch Bonanza, sometimes Disney, but we were much happier outside. We could go to the school and play baseball anytime we wanted. There was a ditch and these mounds of dirt, and we'd just ride our bicycles over it. Now, how we didn't fall off into the ditch. I'm talking 12, 15 feet high mounds of dirt. And of course, all the mothers could sit here and look over at Delaware School, and they'd see us on our bikes. Nobody got hurt. But we were always watched because somebody was there. So I think that's most of it. We were out and about, but the mothers, who always have eyes in the back of their head, they knew where we were and what was going on. So maybe that. I don't know.
What was the music you listened to, or the art you took in, or things like that?
Of course, music was Elvis. And of course, my cousin, who was older, oh my gosh, she was in high school. And I loved to go to her house because she was kind of rich. And she had all the records, all the 45s. And she and her friends would play the music and dance. And it was just you wanted to be them. You wanted to be them. Art, I was not arty at all. At all. I was more of a tomboy. I wanted to swing on swings, play baseball. I didn't do basketball or anything like that. But anything outside, that's what my friends and I did. We were, I had two other friends, and in the 6th grade, we were the same height. And they went on, and both of them were over, 6'1", and I stayed where I was. And that's just always been so odd to me that we were all the same height. And we were the biggest ones in school. We were the tallest. And then they just went on and left me. But it's, and every time you'd see them, you'd forget, have to look up to them. But it was just great fun. Kids from all over. Oh, it was just fun.
Did you play any sports in high school?
Oh, no.
Organized sports for?
Girls did not do that yet. There were a few that might play tennis. But I don't even remember in track. I don't think girls did that necessarily. I mean, they had the drum corps and they do that, or they had the cheerleading, or they had the pep squads, and you could do all of that, but not sports. They weren't into that yet, and I didn't know how to play tennis yet either, and not that I would have. I don't. No, nope. I wish I could have, but I didn't. I did later. Later of course, Bill has 5. There were 5 boys, and they had a huge field behind their house, and we'd play, what was it called? Indian ball. Do you remember Indian ball?
I don't.
I don't remember it either right now, but we would get down in that field and play on Sunday, and it was just fun. So we did do stuff like that. And then I learned how to play tennis. And I love tennis. And I keep thinking, I wonder if I could do pickleball. Bill said, no, I don't think. Everybody we know, Donna, that plays pickleball has broken their arm, broken their wrist, twisted their ankle. I said, I don't think so. And with my reputation for crashing and burning, I don't think pickleball's for me. But in my dreams, I know I could do it. I just know I could. And I want to, but I won't.
I think you could. I think you should try.
I want to so bad. I'll wait till I heal first before I do that. Yeah.
Do you think about, I don't know, your early days? Are there stories that you've thought about when you were raising your own boys, that you thought about telling them, but go, no, I'm not going to tell them that story? Are there any stories that you would have liked to have told them that you withheld from them?
Mm-hmm. But in later years, when you start hearing things that they didn't tell early on, then I think, well, shoot, I can tell them about this because that's not near as bad as what they did. So yes, you do when you get old enough and what are they going to do about it now? It probably wasn't that bad anyway, but, sure. But right now I can't think of anything right now. We just I know one time, my friend, she wasn't 16, I wasn't 16, and we took her mother's convertible because she had a boyfriend in Branson, and we drove to Branson, didn't get there because we were pulled over and had to go home and then tell everybody or our parents what we had done. And that was a big deal. But that was so much fun. Oh, gosh. One time we took the bus. And now, we're talking an old round top Greyhound to Branson. On this bus, it was hot and smelly and the wind was blowing, but we were like 7th or 8th grade when we did this. And the girl who drove that one time, they had a cabin in Branson. So we drove in the bus to Branson, and then we went up to her cabin and we stayed there for a couple of days. And yeah, that was a horrible bus. And back then, Branson was still close, but it still took you an hour, and they'd stop, of course, on the way. People on, people off. So, yeah. But that wasn't bad. That was good.
Yeah.
Most of the thing, I was a good girl. Because I knew I'd get caught if I did anything wrong. All my friends, a lot of them were doing stuff that, no way, I would not do that. So I was kind of the dud. because I wouldn't join in and do stuff like that.
What were some guiding principles that your parents tried to impress upon you?
Well, do unto others, of course. I mean, my mother, oh my gosh, she said that to me so often. And then to always tell the truth. And so that's what I try to do. And to be responsible. Because I think one of your questions was, what makes you want to get up, or why do you get up in the morning, or whatever? And I think it's because I have responsibilities. And I've said, I've taken this on, so that's what I'm going to do. And yeah, at the end of the day, I always thank God for this beautiful day. It was a wonderful day, and thank you for seeing me through another one. But I just have responsibilities, and I take it very seriously. I mean, like working here at church, I love to work at church. I love to be here. It's a wonderful thing to do. And I have responsibilities to my family, to my friends, to my husband. You know, it's my responsibility to have dinner ready, have a nice home. Not necessarily clean all the time, but it's not cluttered. It's not cluttered. So, yeah, I just think to be a responsible person, do my part.
You said earlier on, you talked about teaching, that 1 year of teaching. How did all of those things that your parents taught you about, doing to others and taking care of the responsibilities that you have, how did that come into play when you were in that year of teaching and thinking about
when I went to school, and I was going to college. I mean, my parents, you knew that's what was going to happen when you graduated. You did go on to college. You could be a teacher, you could be a nurse, or you could be a secretary. That was kind of what was open when I graduated. I thought, well, I can't be a nurse. I can't type. I mean, I can, but it's... So I went into teaching. And it just wasn't for me. I didn't have the patience for it. And I was in a school district that was not mobile, but people moving in, moving out, moving in, moving out. Just every month somebody new would come in, and then somebody that would go. And it was just, and I had, you had to have 30 before they could make it a full day school. Well, I didn't. I had like 28. And it was just too much. It was too much for me, and I was the wrong person to be there. I was just wrong. But I did sign a contract. I did have a responsibility to show up and at least try to do the best I could for these children. And, I don't know if I did or not, because I didn't stick around to see how they progressed the next year or anything like that.
How's that shaped or spoken into your life? Or do you think about it much? Maybe it's not had any much of an impact.
No, I've blocked it out. It was just not a good experience for me or for them. It was just, I just should never have done it. So, but I did.
Well, it's a risk that you took. And sometimes we take risks, right? And not all risks come out roses.
No. And I think, well, it was a risk, but it was one I sure wish I hadn't taken. Well, it's just, it's a blot. It's a blot. It's not something that I'm proud of at all. Not at all. And I didn't do it again. Now, a lot of what I learned, I could help, Will and Josh with their schoolwork when they were learning how to write and do their letters and, numbers, how to write them and make them. It helped a little bit with that, but not, I was left-handed, and they weren't. So the way I made letters or tied their shoes, I couldn't teach them because I was doing it the other way. But they did learn eventually how to tie their shoes.
You're left-handed.
Yes. Oh, you didn't know?
You haven't mentioned that before. No, and I didn't know.
It's one of those obvious things. Because I'm always like this. So it's just like I was telling you, oh, this is my sister, and you're supposed to know that that's Julie.
Yeah.
And yeah, I am left-handed. Does that explain something?
No,
in all of your schooling, have you come up with something that says that?
Well,
why?
It might say that you could run for president because a lot of presidents have been left-handed.
I don't think so. No, I never. I am a good follower. I can be a leader, but it would be under duress. I wouldn't want to be a leader. I'll do, I love to file things. I think I'm a frustrated secretary because I love that. Well, I love to answer the phone. I love the buttons, and I can file stuff. I do the menial things that nobody else wants to do. I can do those really well. So, there.
Talk a little bit about your faith formation. What was that like?
My faith?
Yeah, and
okay.
Like where it's been and where it is now.
Oh, good grief. Well, I was raised Episcopalian. Bill grew up a Baptist. No way was he going to the Episcopal Church. So I went to the Baptist Church for about 20 years. Very not happy at all. And then finally, well, not finally, but when my mother passed away, I thought, this is not working for me. I need something else. And I don't know why. I came here first because of the windows. I want to be able to see out. I want to see what God's doing right then. The wind is blowing, or it's raining, or the leaves are turning, or whatever. But it was the windows that brought me in. And then after I was in, I was hooked. This was where I wanted to go. Because it was some of it, like the liturgy. Anyway, some of the stuff we say is what they said in the Episcopal Church. So I knew that. And but it wasn't, it didn't go the Baptist route at all, which is what I really was looking for, or I did not want. So it was kind of like coming home a little bit, but not. Mm-hmm. It was not as pat, which I liked, and it was just beautiful. So that's where I've been ever since, and that's where I expect to stay.
How do you feel the closeness of God, the presence of God? What's that? How's that worked out in your own life?
Well, we have a personal connection. I talk to him a lot. Sometimes I'm very impatient with him, and he knows it. And I ask for things that I haven't been given, but it doesn't make me not know that he loves me and he knows what's best for me, even though I don't understand some of the things, because I knew he would take care of them. And he didn't, but I knew he would. And then when it didn't turn out that way, I wasn't upset with him. I was just sorry that he didn't didn't do what I asked him to do. But I didn't leave him because of that. I mean, good grief. I don't know how anybody can not have God in their life. I just don't know how they can not believe. I mean, just look around you. Oh, well, yes. And I believe in angels. And I believe that, they're there. I know my mother has kept my boys safe when sometimes maybe it could have been really bad. But I know she was there to catch them. I know that. I just know that's the way Mom would be. And I hope I can be that way too well, of course, we're assuming a lot that I'm going to be an angel. But but he's just there. And I feel so sorry for people who don't who don't pray or can't pray or don't believe in prayer, and because it works. It works. Not all the time, but there's a reason, and I'll find out. If and when I get there, I'll find out. God, why did you do this?
You want to say anything about something in specifics? Sounds like you're talking around something there.
No. Well, I'm talking about my mother and my nephew. Mm-hmm. And I just knew that God would not let them die, that he would heal them both. And when I could tell that my mom was not going to probably survive, I asked him to take her and not let her suffer anymore. Just if that's what you're going to do in the end, just do it. Don't wait any longer. Just take her. Don't let her suffer. But Zach, I just knew he was going to heal Zach. I just knew it because we were all praying for it, and I just knew it was going to happen. But it didn't. And my sister is just not there anymore. She's it's gone. She tries real hard, but she's empty, and she's running on empty because he was their life. And nobody, yeah. So those two things, I don't know why God didn't. I don't know why he did what he did. Now, Mom, no, I don't know. I don't know why. Because Julie really, really needed our mom a lot of times. And especially now, of course, Mom she would have been too old, but it would have helped if Mom had been here. Or if Zach was still here. Mm-hmm. He was too young.
There is a great mystery to life and a mystery to how God interacts with life. And sometimes there are no answers.
Mm-mm. Nope. No.
One of the things I've got to experience, though, with you and your sister Julie is that you both do like fun and you not only look to have it, but you look to create it. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Well, I'm a hostess. I like to feed people. I like for them to have fun and go away laughing. And I don't mean hostess like a big party or something like that. I just want everybody to feel comfortable and have a good time while they're there. And I don't mind picking up dishes and taking them into the kitchen and cleaning up. I like doing that. That's, it's, my mother always told us, now when you go to so-and-so's house, you be sure to take your dishes to the kitchen, and if you can, go on them. Clean up after yourself. Clean up after. So I've just always done that. And yeah, we want everybody to have a good time.
Mm-hmm. You do. That is a gift.
We do.
That you guys share.
Yes.
You share generously, and it's I think that's one of the ways that even in the midst of, in the mystery of those tragedies, those moments, that there's still a reserve of spirit and life and life-givingness that comes from you and your sister both. And it's a beautiful thing. And somehow God works all of that in the midst of life.
You don't think we go overboard sometimes?
I've only had my face turn red a couple times. You mentioned your sons several times, and your grandkids a couple times. I wonder if you have any memories of when your boys were young, or memories of your grandkids that you just have stored those away. They're like precious memories that you go back to, you remember, and you recall often.
They were very good boys. They were good. And we took several vacations. Compared to what people do now. They were short vacations. We'd go and visit friends in St. Louis or something. But one time for Christmas, Bill's mom and dad gave all of us, and them included, a trip to Mexico. And so we went to Mexico. And it was so much fun. And the boys and they were only 2 and 4. But they remembered it. No, they were 3 and 5. I'm sorry, they were 3 and 5. And we had so much fun. And boarding the plane, they said, women with children or wheelchair or whatever, whatever they say. Well, Bill's brother, his youngest brother, grabbed a hold of Will, and they walked on the plane first, together. And then, of course, we had Josh, so we took Josh. And it was just so funny because Will was just looking up at Tim like, why are you taking my hand and bringing me on this plane? But it was just so much. It was so much fun. And they just dug in the sand, and it was, and there was oh yes. Do you remember the movie 10?
I don't.
With Bo Derek and Dustin Hoffman? No. Yes, Dustin Hoffman. Oh, well. Anyway, they made that movie at Las Hadas, which is it's close to Manzanilla, which is where we went. Here was Las Hadas. So we went over there to have dinner one night at the hotel where they made this movie. And it was absolutely gorgeous. I wouldn't step one foot in Mexico now, but if I could go back in that time to that place, I would, because it was beautiful. Of course, the Federales were in a house across the street from us in this place where we were, and so that was kind of scary. But, we had rats in the house, and my father-in-law killed it with his shoe on the stairs. And we'd hear him at night. But it was great. We had so much fun. And the boys remember that.
Wow.
It was, yes. Okay, and then Miles and Mallory, well, every time we're with them, they are just, one day, Miles loves all creatures. And not too long ago, they were leaving our house, and there was this, and I hate crickets. I hate the camelback ones. Those I really hate those. But this was a little black one, and he was right there by the front door. And Miles said, "Oh, come here, little guy." And he picked it up, and he put it in the yard and covered it up with the leaves. And he said, "Grandma, this." this heat has made them come out early. And I thought, well, it's a good thing. You saw him first. He would not be under the leaf. So they were just, and Mallory is just full of herself and having so much fun. And we have a gator down at the farm, and she gets in that thing, and she won't be 16 until October, but she gets in this gator, and she drives all over the place. And it's like this, one hand. And I told her, I said, now, Mallory, when you get your permit, you're not going to be able to drive that car like you drive the gator. You're going to have both hands on it, and you can't go 40. She's just out there. And Miles still loves all the little critters.
Oh, my goodness.
And he always will. So it's just anytime you're with them. And you'll find out what I'm talking about. They don't have to do anything but go, oh, did you see that? He put his thumb in it. Did you see it? And you'll just get so excited about it. Anything they do. It's wonderful. It's the best time in your life.
What do you look forward to in the future? What are you thinking about and dreaming about?
Oh, just to be able to be healthy enough to stay in our home, be healthy enough to be able to have friends over or go out with friends. I want to see Miles and Mallory graduate from high school. I would love to be here if they get married. I would love to see that. Probably won't, but it would just be, that's what I want to see. That, and I want my son, Will, to find somebody to love and share his life with. That's what I want. That's what I want.
Those are good things.
They are, but he's a chef. Now, he won't say he's a chef, but by golly, we spent a lot of money for him to go to culinary school. He's going to be a chef, and or call him a chef. And his time, he goes to work at 2 or 3, gets home at midnight, sometimes later. He doesn't have a life. He doesn't have time to cultivate anything. So, but someday it'll happen.
Well, Donna, it is always a treat to talk with you. But you just have so much life, and your animations have been fun to watch.
Oh.
Thinking about how this is going to be like an oral project where people listen. And I've had the privilege of watching your hand moments.
I do talk with my hands.
That is fantastic. It's a gift. Don't.
Okay. Yeah, all right. Some folks think it's annoying, but thank you.
So the final question we've been asking is if you have a final word or a piece of sage advice or something that you'd really want people listening to this to keep in their mind about you or about life, what would that be?
Oh, gosh. Don't waste your time being upset, hurt, angry. Don't waste your time on that. Be happy. There's so much to be happy for. And not that people don't suffer, and I understand that. We all have suffered. But it's a waste of time. Don't dwell on that. Just be happy and look around you and see what God has given you. The sky, the trees, that annoying little humpback cricket that I don't like. Just look around you and see how perfect everything is, really. For me, it is. I have led a charmed life. I have been very, very blessed. And I know that. I realize that every single day, how blessed I really am. And I love my church and my church family. And God knows that. He sent me here just so I could talk into a microphone someday.
You are beloved. You are beloved.
Thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Miss Donna.
You're welcome.
All right.
It was fun.
Well, thank you so much for joining me in listening to Donna Montgomery's story. And thank you to Donna for sharing it. I hope today that you were inspired, encouraged, and challenged, and that you begin to behold and listen to the really cool people around you. The Really Cool People podcast is produced by Schweitzer Church, Springfield, Missouri. Taylor Likes is the executive producer and editor. I'm your host, Jason Leininger. Until next time, you can help us by liking, reviewing, and sharing this podcast.